What's going on, everybody? This is Derek, and with me today is the only man who will build a bike from logs and rocks. That's how he gets all those miles so quickly. Don't let him fool you. It's not the shoulders. Carl Mandarelli, how you doing?
I'm doing good, my friend. Welcome to the Backpacking Adventures podcast, brought to you by the Made in America quilt makers in Light Equipment. With me today is Derek Somerville. He's a man that goes outside to yell at kids that social networking back in his day was go outside and play.
It really was.
Yeah.
Go outside and play.
Not catching the irony there that you're going outside to yell at the kids to go outside and play.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's good.
Thank you.
Because I'm super old. Yeah, it's funny.
What are you, the silent generation? Is that what they call your generation?
Mine was the one before that.
I don't think they had names before.
No, they did.
What was it called?
I can't tell you all the answers to, some things might be brought up later today.
Oh, it's a trivia question. I won't know the answer to that, so you can say that one.
Don't Google it. So, okay, we all heard it here, folks. He doesn't know the answer, and so if he suddenly gets it, we know he Googled it. So,
right. That's funny. So we got, so baby boomers, we're kind of picking on the baby boomers, but in reality, we're going to be picking on a lot of different generations today. Yeah. And I actually reached out to a couple boomer Patreon supporters that have been on our trips. Two, actually, my favorite people to go with. You've been with one of them. So I've got Christine from Arizona and Doug from California.
Yeah, Doug.
And they gave a lot of the information that we're going to be providing today. So it's not like we're just bashing them for the sake of bashing them. They've learned from their mistakes, but some of this stuff I think is still kind of out there and people still believe. So I think this is going to be a helpful episode. What do you think?
I hope so. If not, it'll be good fun to mock these people.
I mean, isn't it the responsibility of like the younger generation to question the older generation? Like, why did you do that?
Oh, for sure. It's weird to be on the other side of the coin now. I feel like I'm getting mocked.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I feel like, okay, I just know that, like, as a Gen Xer, I'm not perfect. I'm probably messing something up. And I'm trying to actually ask my kids all the time, like, all right, what's going on here? What are we doing that doesn't make any sense? And they're pretty gracious. But yeah. So was there something that you'd like question your parents about? You're like, I can't believe they did that.
Well, I mean, smoking while pregnant. That was the thing.
Wait, did your mom smoke?
No. But she knew people that did. I think it was just a lot more.
Explained a lot.
I know, right? But you would think there's still that mystery you still have yet to solve.
That's true.
Whoa, technical difficulties. Yeah. So there was that. I think there was the whole like, back in those days, like I would just like the whole. It wasn't really their fault, but. Well, maybe it was the lawmaker's fault. Like, I would be in the back of the station wagon with just no seatbelt, bouncing around for like, huge road trips. There was no safety concern. My sister and brother were not wearing seatbelts. Like, nobody's wearing a seatbelt.
Did you know that, like, some people think that we've overcorrected that, and so these crazy car seats, I don't know. I saw this study where it was like they did this correlation where ever since they had these safety laws with the car seats and you have to like, dig in and buckle them in, and then it takes forever to get the kids in, they can't buckle themselves, that some people are like, this is a hassle. We're going to have fewer kids as a result. Like it's actually causing a decline in the population.
It's like too much effort to just get in the car. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see that being annoying.
With new parents, the two big milestones I tell them, you're going to be so excited when your kids learn to potty train and when they can buckle themselves. Those are like the two.
That's sad. It's kind of sad.
Don't you think so?
No, I mean, I see the victory there for them, but I mean, it was true though. It's kind of true though, because I think I could see why it'd be way more annoying. I remember just like my mom would pop the trunk, I'd jump in, or I'd just like, we'd all just like jump in and like stuff's all over the place. There was no concern for safety.
Dude, you probably did that as a teenager though. You can't just blame your parents for that stuff.
There was like this still happens in other countries outside of America, but the whole like, let's just go sit in the back of the pickup truck and just see what happens and drive around.
That happens in America, dude. There's still states.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, I mean, that's legal, but
right.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, anyway, so we're gonna pick on the boomers a little bit here. I think one of the issues that I think is that I don't know if it's just their generation, but there's a lot of things that we're gonna mention that just seem to make sense, but that doesn't mean that they're correct. Like what they believe, they're like, well, this makes sense. But in reality, there's no studies done on them and there's no proof behind it. And so, but that sort of lie got perpetuated for a long time. And again, some of us still believe that today, and we're going to find out. So yeah. All right. Also, we have somebody responded to your pocket pretzels.
Pocket pretzels.
Yeah, where Derek put just pretzels and pretzel crumbs and pretzel dust into his pocket, no bag, and just ate out of his gross pocket. So we got a comment from a lady about that. Bibleverse, the episode, Joel 1:3, tell your children of it and let your children tell their children and their children to another generation. So this is like the passing down the knowledge about God, or just the general idea of like passing down knowledge.
Like
did your parents pass down knowledge and wisdom to you, do you feel?
I feel like they did-ish. It was like a giant game of telephone where it kind of gets, skewed a little bit,
Okay.
So did they pass me down knowledge? I don't know, like sunscreen whenever you go outside to the beach. Sure. I guess was the top one. No, I don't know.
It was, I like that one.
But again, it's like they're not like, I think back in the day it was like just put the sunscreen on. Here's a myth. Like, and this still applies today when I was
This is a myth or a lie?
This is a lie. I'm sorry. This is a lie. Even when I was teaching swimming back in the day, it's like, and people still believe this today. Like, I see a lot of actually families of all ethnicities would get to their kids to the swimming pool or get their kids to the beach. They just lube them up with all kinds of sunscreen, and then they just jump in the water like immediately. And I'm like,
right,
that is not doing anything. They're gonna get burned. Like, you're just washing it all off. It's gonna set in your skin for like 10-15 minutes.
Wait, so did you scold them? Did you go talk to them about that?
A couple times I did, because I'm like, look, you threw your greasy kid in the pool, and now I can't even hold him, and 2, like, he's gonna burn, and then 3, it smells disgusting, and like I gotta deal with this kid for 20 minutes now. Thanks a lot.
When you were talking to them, did you shake your finger at them?
It was more of a fist.
Okay,
fist of anger, more of a fist.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you what the boomer generation is known for, and the sunscreen thing. That's actually probably a, like, overall positive thing, especially if you don't go. I don't know. I'm not a sunscreen expert, but
the boomer generation. What are they known for?
Yeah, like telling you to put sunscreen on.
Sunscreen is number one, obviously. Yeah. I think they were what was that generation? They were like 40s to 60s ish, right? So they had like the big. They all about like this is like post World War II, right? So they're like all about like economic prosperity. Yeah, social movements, like anti-war protesting was going on.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I think it was a pretty significant impact on the culture.
As a kid, like my boomer parents, they were big on. I don't know. I remember there was like this movement for like make sure that you're spending quality time with your kids, and so my mom would just like basically sit me down, tell me stories for hours, and then ask me like, was that quality time? I was like,
she would ask you
or say something or make a comment about it. Yeah. I don't know.
Like, was it official quality time?
Yeah. Like, did I get did I check the box for today?
Yikes, that's awkward. How'd you feel?
That was a thing for them. Did you know that boomers own 38% of all real estate, but comprise only 20% of the current population?
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you think that they are the reason for like increased housing prices and lack of availability, all that stuff?
Oh, lack of availability for housing. I mean, I think that there's a lot of like, if you think about it today, like my grandpa, probably 40s, right? My grandpa was that age. He was just buying up stuff. He had lots in Laguna Beach. He told me he was buying for $100 a lot. Like, so he's probably like 5% of that. He's probably like 5%. So he bought a bunch of stuff, and then I'm like, dude, like it's almost like they just kind of gobble it all up. So yeah. I mean, it makes sense. So
I think that that's a misconception. I actually looked into this because I think one of the main reasons that there's like this, like increased housing, especially housing prices, especially like in city areas, is because of Airbnbs and Verbos and stuff.
I think that's been a big impact.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot about that.
Do you know which generation owns the most of those?
Is it our generation?
It's not. Millennials. Dang millennials.
Gen Ys? Is that the Gen Y?
I thought it was just millennials. I thought Gen Y went away. Isn't that?
I think it's like another term for millennials.
Okay.
Gen Y.
I think that, and so there's some cities that are actually banning that, but I think it's too late in some areas. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. So we can't blame them for that. I think we're just trying to blame everybody here. So we're blaming the millennials for that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get into it, man. Okay. So these are things that might relate to outdoors, outside, going backpacking, gear, anything. So things that maybe like they believe they passed down, and maybe by default we passed down because we believed what they were telling us. So Go first. What you got?
You want me to start? Okay, I'm going to save some good ones for later, but I have, okay, here's one. The younger we are, or the younger, wait, I didn't write that right. Okay, the younger you are, the better hiker you are. Is that, to me, the lie perpetuates.
Like 2-year-olds are better than 15.
No. Like if you're a teenager, you're 20 years old, you're a better hiker than like a 40, 50-year-old, right?
What does that mean, better? Like
Yeah, just better. Like you can do more. But I think
where did you find this one? I haven't heard this before. What are you talking about?
I looked up lies, bro. I looked up lies. This is from Backpacker.com.
Wait, what did you search? You searched lies.
Backpacker.com. So according to Backpacker.com, I'm going to continue with my first one. According to Backpacker.com, the lie is that younger are better than older. I think the stereotype is like, if I'm younger, I have more energy, I can go farther, I can do things faster.
Right.
I think where it gets offline is like where it's like if you're old, right? So like the older you are, the more knowledge you have about like, well, if I pack this way, I can go longer, I can endure longer. I know that I won't get these muscles or injuries if I do these certain things, right? I can
train better,
yeah, experience. So I think that to me is a lie, because like just because you're younger doesn't mean you're better. You might have more energy.
It could be that nowadays, because back in the day we didn't have it. I mean, we're just believing the lies that are told to us, and nowadays they can actually, people can do a lot more research, and there's a lot more information out there. I will say that generally speaking, I'm less sore on day 2, day 3 on the backpacking trips than I was in my 20s. So yeah. Okay. I don't like that one, but good job.
I like it. I have the curse of being young and experienced compared to you, so I think I have to share my knowledge with you as much as possible.
People believe that. People are like, they're nodding their heads. They're like, that's right, Derek.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's go, brother. Okay.
Brother.
Okay. Wow. So this one I think is still I think people are still saying this. And I think I'm going to pick on the boomer coaches and the boomer PE teachers, and maybe some of the Gen X or millennials. I think they're still perpetuating this. And that is, when you're, whether you're hiking up a mountain or whether you're, at altitude, whether you're not fit, you're out for a run, you have to catch your breath. You're out of breath. So they tell you to stand up and put your hands behind your head. And this is what I was talking about before, where it's like, that makes sense because you're trying to open up your lungs and trying to open up your chest so that you can inhale more air. It makes sense, right? Versus like you're tired, so you want to put your hands on your knees and catch your breath that way, which is what everybody wants to do. And so it's very uncomfortable to put your hands behind your head. And then after like a couple minutes, it's still kind of uncomfortable. Like people don't really like that still.
Yeah.
But people have been told that forever. And so in 2019, they did a study which basically said, yeah, that's wrong. Like put your hands on your knees, essentially.
I think the natural instinct back in high school was to just put my hands on my knees. And then you get reprimanded. Like, dude, get your hands off your knees.
Yeah.
And it was kind of annoying.
Right. And it's not, different sports, running. I don't know, when they made you kind of run, for PE class, whatever. So I bet, our buddy Rocky, he's a PE teacher. I bet he said that recently.
I'm going to guarantee it. I'm going to guarantee it. I have no idea.
Respond.
No proof.
Respond.
Prove it, Rocky.
Okay.
Prove it.
Yep.
You have some quirky ones. So here's one that's kind of funny. Like 2 socks are needed. They're better than 1 pair of socks when you're hiking. You need like the liner sock, the synthetic sock. You need a wool outside sock.
Yep.
And that's gonna, make things a lot better, keep you warmer, all this other stuff. So
not keep you warmer. It's just meant for blister prevention.
Blister prevention, but double layers too. What is to me? I mean, to you, what do you think of when you hear that? Is that something that's like complete nonsense in our generation, or is it?
So there's still people that believe this, and maybe if it works, hey, if you're using this and it works for you, that's great. If you want more friction, more layers on your feet, then that seems like a really bad idea to me. I prefer just 1 sock, and I've tried the liner sock thing, and it's increased my blister rate, I'll say. Yeah. So I think that's nonsense. There's a brand of sock out there that makes the liner socks built into the wool socks. But at this point, I just want like a thin, breathable sock. So that way, if it gets wet, it dries out fast. And I'm okay with the wool sock, but the 2 socks is overkill. Like this one doesn't even make sense in the first place. Like if you've got more friction, you'll have less blisters. That's nonsense to me.
And guys, we've seen this firsthand when I challenged Carl to wear cotton socks only. he got them nice and good and wet, and his Hobbit feet did not get any blisters whatsoever. So that was a lot of friction too. I was surprised.
I mean, the real truth behind it is like shoe fit is the key to blister prevention.
That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Socks definitely help 100%. You don't want the cotton socks, like for some people that don't go outside as often, if they're doing like you are, like you're training in Costco, like you probably couldn't handle that cotton sock challenge. Let's be honest.
In Costco, that'd be tough. It's a lot of walking,
Yeah.
So no, cotton socks are my baby soft heels. Just don't get along.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of us are more sensitive. Okay, my next one is
that was your next one.
That was my turn. What's your next one? Go ahead.
All right. This one was mentioned by multiple people.
Boy.
That they believe this, and then they suggested this to the younger generation. They said that you need to scoop water directly out of the creek with that metal Sierra cup, because in their day, Giardia simply hadn't been invented.
Invented. I love it. I love the word. That was a quote. Invented.
That's from Christine. That was her.
I heard like a similar one, Christine, where it was like, as long as you're just scooping it from a running river, there's no Giardia.
Well, I've heard. Yeah, I don't know if. Yeah, I gotta do studies on that. I've heard that if it's like coming off the rock, that there's less likely. I mean, obviously that's better than stagnant water, right?
But let's talk about it from it. Like, what if I'm scooping it from a running river toward the top of the source as opposed to down in the valley? Is one of those better than the other? I'm gonna say yeah, but
I don't know. Which one? Which one do you like better?
I like the higher up, but it's more work. It's more work.
Pro tip.
It's
more work because you're hiking down low. You're like, all right, I want to get it from the source. I'm gonna scale the mountain ridge with my Sierra cup.
I'm going to the spring itself.
That's right. And then come back down and you're like, dang it, I'm thirsty again. I got to go back up there.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's so true. So true.
Okay.
What do you think? This Giardia? Who invented Giardia? Do you know? Is it is it online?
Giardia.
Yeah.
He discovered it. Yeah.
Carl Giardia.
That's
nice.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. What's your next one?
Mine is let's see. Okay, if you're lost, seek high ground or a river.
Those are the opposite, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like one or the other. So if you're lost, if you're like on the trail and you're like, I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
I'm gonna now detour and go like up on top of a hill or find a river, I guess is supposed to be helpful. But I mean, whatever happened to like retracing your steps, checking the map, staying calm and like kind of like catching your breath and like, okay, where did I just come from? What did I just see? Trail markers. I don't know. I feel like there's other options you can have than like completely abandoning a trail.
If there's trail markers, then why are you lost?
That's a great question.
Like read the trail signs.
Well, backtrack. I'm saying backtrack if you forget what trail marker you were.
Okay.
And I would say talk to other hikers, but as you and I both know, like sometimes that's more of a detriment than an aid.
Sometimes,
but,
yeah, it depends on you don't always know who you're talking to for sure.
That's true. That's true. Rangers included.
I would say if you're like lost but haven't been lost for a super long time, retracing your steps I think is the key for sure. That's the best one. I've actually done that successfully. If you're lost, like you're like, you lost your direction, you have no idea where the trail is. At that point, you got to stay put.
Yeah.
So don't.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Put. Yeah. I don't know. So the ones you're bringing up, I'm not sure that I've heard these. I don't know that I can blame the boomers on this one.
I didn't, they came from somewhere. Where'd Giardia come from? You're just blaming boomers on Giardia?
I'm telling you what they did in response to trying to get water, and I have multiple boomers that told me that one.
The pot and the kettle are black right now. Okay, go ahead.
Here's one that maybe your mom said. If you exercise, if you like go out and play in the rain, you'll catch a cold.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah,
big time.
Okay, do you believe that?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I think that you can catch a cold. Absolutely, if you're just like standing out there absorbing the rain and you're getting freezing. But if you're actually like hiking or exercising in the rain and you're keeping your body temperature up and you're wearing proper clothing, then like there's no guarantees, of course, but it's unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, is that like along the same vein of like, hey, you just had lunch, you got to wait 2 hours to go swim? Or 30 minutes? Was it 30 minutes?
30 minutes, yeah. Yeah.
Is that true? Or are you going to like.
I remember as a kid that like they made fun of that when I was a kid still. Like they're like, I remember seeing this like Far Side comic strip where where one kid had like one chip and then the mom's like, don't go swimming for 30 minutes. And he's like, I just had one chip, mom. So I don't know that I think that boomers made fun of themselves for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I have one more good one here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Now I don't know if this is the boomers. Maybe this is Gen X. I'm not sure, but maybe you've heard this. You're warmer sleeping in your sleeping bag if you're naked. Is that true?
You're warmer?
You're warmer if you're naked in your sleeping bag.
Dude, that's a controversial one right there.
I know.
Some people still think that's true. I have not read studies about that, but some people will do that. It feels like you shouldn't be warmer because you've got more insulation with layers on.
But then is the skin on the synthetic or the down sleeping bag going to create more heat, moisture, sweat, all these other things?
I'll tell you what, people are going to respond to this, and we're going to get responses both ways. It's controversial.
100%. That's what I'm here. I'm here to stir the pot.
That's a good one.
What about if it was under a quilt? You know, these little outdoor quilts.
What does that change?
Yeah, I don't know. Does that change anything?
Same issue. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
What if the sleeping bag is unzipped halfway?
Well, then that's going to let a draft in, and that's a problem. You know?
Okay.
Give me one more. That was it.
I got a couple. Okay, I got a couple more. Let me see here. I've got. All right, this is one that I was told as a kid. We went and visited the Grand Canyon. Okay. And we looked over the edge.
Okay.
And then we drove up to the next lookout spot, and then we looked over the edge, and I was like, dude, how do you get down there? And I was told, if you want to go to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, you got to ride a donkey.
Yeah, the whole mule donkey thing.
Yeah. So you can't hike down there. You have to, you got to get a ride down there.
They said that was the only way?
Yeah.
Maybe you weren't paying attention. Maybe he meant in that section.
No.
No?
No. Incorrect.
He meant the whole canyon.
Okay. Another one is this one I know. I had a buddy that I used to go backpacking with, and his early trips were with the boomer dad, who always said to burn trash in the campfire. Ooh, and he was not the only one that said that, but I think he might be the only one that says I think they had some stove that uses those green propane canisters. And when those are done, just put them under a rock.
Put them under that was
really? Yeah.
Yeah. That seems
I don't know that all boomers did that one. That was definitely one from.
I think that's case by case. That just seems negligent and lazy.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Okay. This is one of my favorite ones. I don't know if this relates to backpacking, but this one blows me away that people believe this for years. Eating low fat, high sugar foods will help you lose weight. Do you remember that whole low fat?
Yeah.
80s, 90s,
fat free this.
Yeah, and it was loaded with sugar, but it's low fat, so you're gonna lose weight by eating these foods.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which if you're okay, this is what I'm talking about. Is you think about it, eat less fat, you'll be less fat, right? But so that's kind of the rationale, but that's not based on any evidence or studies. So
it's amazing they had that mentality and then got the stuff out there on the market for people to buy.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
Yeah, that label, it was a green label on the food, low fat. That was a thing for sure.
Ugh, fat free, low fat.
Yeah,
I mean, I do like me some low fat soy sauce. You know,
where did that come from?
Not low fat, low sodium soy sauce. So
that doesn't relate at all.
Low sodium, low fat, low, all the little low labels. You know,
low sugar,
okay, all that stuff on the cereals.
You go low with everything. It's like air at that point.
Well, it's like a little safety advantage. It makes you feel like you're doing something better because you're choosing the quote unquote healthier option with the low label, right? Isn't that what it's all about? But then I don't know. Do you end up just buying more of it because you think it's better for you, and then you just eat more of it anyway, and then you overeat because the sugar's so addictive?
I mean, you used to have a problem with the Carl Jr. Mega Muffins. How did that play a role?
Okay, Mega Muffins aren't a thing, but it was the Carl Jr. chocolate cake. So
isn't that the same thing?
A muffin and a cake?
Yeah, muffin is just like a breakfast cake.
Look, backpacking blisters. If that's not controversial, I don't know what is. A muffin and a cake, guys. Can we help Carl out here?
A muffin is just a breakfast cake, and you're just trying to justify eating cake for breakfast by calling it a muffin.
A muffin is a muffin. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it there.
You're lying to yourself if you think that a muffin is not a cake. If you think a muffin's not a kind of cake, you're lying to yourself.
I didn't say it wasn't a kind of cake. You're saying it is a cake.
It is.
You're saying a muffin and a cake are the same thing.
Just because you used to have an addiction to Carl Jr. Mega Muffins doesn't
mean... For your birthday, no more cake. We're just going to do muffins only. Okay? How about that? No icing.
Put a candle.
No little fun design. Yeah, let's put a big old 100 on that thing. That's all I'm going to do.
100.
That's all I'm going to do.
Oh my God.
Absurd. That's absurd.
Yeah, I think you're lying to yourself still, man.
So when you're at Costco and you see the box of 12 chocolate...
They don't have those anymore.
when they did. This is back in the boomer days. I don't know when they had the big mega muffin boxes. Like, is that
Just cakes.
you're just buying just 12 cakes?
Right.
You're so...
And you know that's true. You know, like look at the ingredient, compare Costco muffins to your typical cake. It's the same.
Let's put this next to I just bought a Costco giant sheet cake with chocolate, blah 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 blah.
Right,
Did I just buy a giant muffin?
Yeah.
How do you make it
a
in
muffin
life,
with
dude?
frosting, essentially?
So people at the stores must hate you. Be like, hey, where are your cakes at? And they'll be like, it's on aisle 5 with the muffins. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's the same
right.
thing.
All I do is I scold people. You're the one you're talking to parents, shaking your fist at them about the sunblock thing. You think I'm just like talking to people like, don't call that a muffin, it's just a cake. I'm not doing that.
Do they keep the muffins and the cakes in the same area in the store?
They do at Costco. They absolutely do. You know they do.
You would know, actually. That's fair.
All right. I would know. You're the Costco expert.
I don't go in that section. There's too much sugar. Low fat.
All right. A couple other ones I had was moleskin is the best option for blisters. People are still doing that. Yeah. I just think that like focus on shoe fit and don't plan to have blisters. Like people, I don't know. I don't bring.
I like the moleskin though. I don't hate the moleskin.
Yeah, but I just think there's other options. There's other types of tapes out there that work way better. And then always bring a bandana was one that my wife said. She's like, I was told that a bunch of times. And I think that's been replaced by the buff or nothing.
The buff or nothing.
Yeah. People don't bring, do you see bandanas a lot out in the trail?
I think it's like for a certain type of person.
Okay.
You know,
that didn't really answer the question, but
no, it didn't.
Yeah.
But I think that, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think the buff replaced the bandana. Yes. To answer your question.
Okay.
I think
because the bandana is like multi-purpose, like you wipe your nose on it, you cover your head with it, you get it wet and put it around your neck. And people are like into the buff or that kind of stuff.
Is it weird to think that the buff, like you're going to get it wet, put it on your neck? Some people wipe their nose with it and they put it back on their head. Is that weird?
No.
Is that a thing?
I think that's
like,
a thing.
I saw you wiping your nose with yours.
A lot.
Yeah, and then you put it on your, then you cover your face with it. It's gross.
Well, or you are wiping your nose and you're like dipping it in the stream. So, rinse it off. And now there's like your snot is in the stream. And now you've got snot giardia going down that people are kind of dipping in with their Sierra cup.
Yeah, that's how giardia was started actually.
Yeah, snot giardia.
Yeah, snot giardia, yeah.
There you go. All right. I think we hit more than 10. I got to count those up. But we got lies the boomers told you that some people are still believing. And so what do we miss? What did we get wrong? What did Derek get wrong? Is a muffin a cake? Please share all those things.
Is a muffin a cake? Yeah. Wow.
All right. You got trivia?
Woo. I got trivia. We have generational trivia right after this.
Out on the trail, capability isn't optional. It's essential. That's why I'm using case knives. Built for whatever comes your way, these knives have been trusted for more than 100 years. On the job, in the wild, and even to the moon. Made with craftsmanship in Bradford, Pennsylvania, every case knife is a piece of American grit you can count on. Whether you're splitting kindling, cutting paracord, or just cutting up some tape to take care of that pesky blister. Case knives, every day capable. The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Roan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Roan uses rock-solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie-cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure. Generational trivia. All right, what you got?
All right, here we go. Question 1. Which generation is known for the resilience and strong work ethic? They valued stability and security over all other things. What generation?
Are you giving me multiple choice or?
No, this is fill in the blank, like you gave me a few weeks ago.
Okay. Baby boomers.
Incorrect. It is the silent generation, which you mentioned earlier.
Who doesn't value those things?
That's what. But back in the day,
chaos. It was like the rest want chaos.
No, because other people remember back, like Grandpa's day, right? It's like go to work, strong work ethic, security, get those bonds, get the have a home and get those bonds. And now today it's like I need a work-life balance. I need to think about me. I need to, it's not.
That's
not
fair.
as.
That's
it's
fair.
not as.
Okay. Yeah, the work thing for sure, but the safety and security, people always want that. Always.
They do, but do they always? Well, we'll go. That's another topic. Okay, number 2. This generation values experiences over material possessions. Ooh, this is a good one.
I would hope it would be Gen X because I don't know. Like my mother-in-law passed away this past year, and so we're going through things, and like this has been a conversation I've had with my wife about it, but I think she's more sentimental over the stuff, and I'm more sentimental over places. So I don't know if that's generally true, but I'll go Gen X.
It is the millennials, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Good job, millennials. Good job.
Gen Y. I like this one because it made me think like, is this where like the minimalist movement started? I don't know. I could be wrong. Like, is this where like, is this where like, let's just get rid of all this crud. Let's just live life. Let's have the experience. We don't need all this junk. Maybe they were so traumatized by their parents and grandparents' hoarded closets and garages that they were like, I don't want to have a house like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's me.
0
for 2. Not looking good.
I don't know if this is your third question, but what's the generation that hoards the most?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be boomers.
It's gotta be them because of their. Yeah,
my grandpa. My grandpa's. Yeah, his closet his garage was pretty horrible.
Yeah.
He had like 20 vacuum cleaners. He had like 50 of each tool.
Right.
I mean, it was pretty gross.
Yeah, because my parents-in-law aren't hoarders at all. And although I don't know, I would guess it'd be that generation for sure. Like
I think it was silent generation. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. Final question. This is classified as the most annoying generation. I actually Googled this, and I found an answer for this.
Well, it's gotta be. I mean, it's always gonna be the youngest generation or the youngest up and coming generation because people are always like, they don't work hard. They don't know how good they have it. So it's got to be like the Gen Zers, right?
Gen Z! It was Gen Z.
Yeah.
Most difficult to work with. They have a perceived sense of entitlement, and they have a lack of discipline, which you hear that a lot. Like, I don't need to be here.
If that's true, I'll say this. If that's generally true, I don't think that's their fault. I would say that's the parents' fault.
Is the creation of social media a factor?
You know, what you just described, maybe.
Well, because you have kids like they don't go to an actual job. They just like create content online. Maybe I'm streaming video games, maybe I'm making silly videos or whatever, dancing on TikTok, and I'm making like tens of millions of dollars.
I have like a lot to say about this, but I try not to talk about my world of teaching on the podcast. I don't want to get myself in trouble. So, you know what? We'll circle back when we're retired. How about that? Then I'll just kind of unload.
Circle back when we're retired?
When I'm retired from teaching. Yeah. So
okay,
yeah, but I think that all right. I think those questions were fair, so I will accept the trivia loss on this one. And
that was not good for you. That was tricky. What? Okay, bonus question. What was the generation called before the silent generation?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I didn't even know that I learned the silent generation just.
I didn't know this either
when prepping for this episode. That's something I didn't know.
I didn't know this. It's called.
That would have been like the early 1900s, like the World War I generation.
Yeah, Great Depression.
Okay. Yeah,
Great Depression.
The deceived generation.
Wow,
that's how the U.S. got involved in World War I. They were deceived, basically.
They're called the greatest generation. I mean, it's kind of cool.
Trench warfare. Like they came up with that. I don't know. About that.
You know, they were pretty. They were ballers back in the day.
Mustard gas. I don't think those are good things. So
you know, I don't make the names. Okay.
I disagree with that. And if you're part of the greatest generation, when I come on our show, I'll have it out with you. How about that?
Yeah, they'll be like 100 years old. That'd be really cool.
I think it's like 120.
You're gonna tell me when I saw the Holocaust survivor who was 102 years old, I'm just gonna like go at it with her. Like, let me tell you something about
now. Okay, now you're.
Let me tell you something about. Oh, you survive a Holocaust. Yeah,
that's
maybe one of the most epic moments of my life was talking to somebody
like Germany. I thought we were talking like American generation stuff, but yeah, obviously Holocaust survivors are legit.
I don't know. Maybe you should have them on the podcast and talk to them. Grill them.
All right.
You would.
There's still some out there, so
you find a way.
Why don't you find them and we'll have them on and we'll talk about lies the greatest generation told their youngsters.
The biggest lie was telling me that a cake was a muffin. So that's all for me.
Tidbits. All right, so we got a new review. It's not even that new. It's from May, but
who's it from?
We can get.
It was from
I don't know. An unreadable name.
Unreadable name review. Pretty in-depth review, actually. It's just one very direct sentence that said, these guys are nuts.
That's the first sentence. We're not going to...
Multiple exclamation points.
Yeah. That's the best part, for sure.
Oh, went downhill. Yeah.
Thank you. We agree.
I am nuts.
You know what? We want more reviews. So please, we want to read your reviews from the Apple Podcast app specifically. So if you're on Apple, please take the time. We'd love to give you a shout out. And if you left that comment, please send us your address. We got something good coming your way in the mail. June Bible study in full swing. Not too late to join. Please reach out with my email address in the show description if you want to join. It's kind of a come when you can situation. And then we got a shout out from a YouTuber called Tasmania Hut Adventures.
Ooh.
He invited us to stay at his beach house in Tasmania and go backpacking with him.
Stop it. Seriously?
Would you go?
Heck, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Tasmania beach house?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had me at Tasmania. So
okay. Cool. Well, there you go. So check his stuff out if you want. Tasmania Adventures right there. New Patreon supporter. I mentioned to him in a previous episode. I kind of got his story. He's Steve from Ohio, and he backpacked a ton before he got married. Now that his kids are older, he's back. I have a feeling he's a boomer. So now that he's back, we're giving him a shout out on the boomer episode. Hopefully he likes what we had to say.
Boom it.
And he said he likes our show because we don't just make boring YouTube gear videos.
Hallelujah for that.
Yeah. So is there I don't know what the saturation level is, but there's a lot of gear videos out and they're all like the same video by a bunch of different people.
Is that what people want? More gear videos? Or do you want some more ridicularity?
They're doing well. So
do you want us to make fun of your generation? That's what they want.
That's what they want.
All right. And that's what we're here for.
All right. Final tidbit is Kimmy from New York. This is in reference to our Catalina episode. She says, as usual, stellar episode. I enjoyed this one while hiking in my PJ pants in Crocs while eating peanut butter pretzels out of my sports bra while looking for sturdy pine cones to do my business.
That is epic.
That's an epic comment right there.
I mean, do we have video footage?
Of which, we don't want, there's multiple things she mentioned there we do not want video footage of.
Well, true, but I mean, what an imaginative situation there.
If you really are in your pajama pants and Crocs and you can take a picture, we'll share it for sure.
If it's Crocs with socks, I think we got to delete everything. But if it's Crocs no socks, I think we have a conversation here.
Okay,
you know, that's my.
You're pretty judgmental on the Crocs stuff.
Yeah, super judgmental. Yeah.
All right, that's all I got.
That's all I got, guys. That was great. Always a pleasure. Check us out on the social media handles, backpackingblisters.com. We will see you next time. Remember, guys, if you need a buff, Carl just developed the Kleenex buff, which goes on your face, forehead, and nose for the snot and the pleasurable memories. We'll see you next time.